Hi, in this video we'll learn how to move the file pointer position in a file. A file pointer is a marker that indicates the current position within a file. You can think of it almost like a text cursor that we use in a text editor. When we first open the file pointer is located at the very beginning of the file. If we called file.read1 after opening the file pointer would move by one position to the right, and it reads the one character it passed over. If we called read without passing characters, the file pointer would be shifted to the end of the file. If we instead called read line, the file pointer would be shifted to the end of the line. Using different combinations of these three methods shifts the file pointer to different locations throughout the document. In order for programs to keep track of the current location of the cursor, Python provides us with two useful methods. The first method is tell. The tell method returns the current position of the file pointer, which is the number of characters the pointer is from the beginning of the file. When the file pointer is located at the beginning of the file, the tell method returns 0. If we call the tell method after reading one character, the tell method returns 1. If we call the tell method after reading a line from this given file, it returns 23, which includes all of the characters in the line, including numbers, letters, punctuation, spaces, and new line characters. This file contains 64 total characters, including the new line characters. If we call the tell method after reading the entire file, it returns 64, which is also equivalent to the length of the file. The second useful method is the seek method. With the seek method, we can move the file pointer by a given number of characters. For example, if we call file.seek x, where x is an integer or number, this offsets or moves the position of the file pointer x number of characters from the beginning of the file. We call this parameter the offset. For example, imagine that the cursor is located at the beginning of the file. If we called file.seek 10, it offsets or moves the file cursor 10 characters in. Even if the cursor was initially located somewhere else in the file, when this seek method is called, the cursor will move the specified number of characters from the beginning of the file. Is there another way to use the seek method to have it move from a different location? Yes. We can add a second parameter to the seek method, which will be a number of 0, 1, or 2. This value will give the reference point for the location we want to move the pointer from. By default, if we don't include any value for the second parameter, it will use a value of 0, which will move the pointer the specified number of characters from the beginning of the file. A value of 1 will use the current position of the cursor as the reference point, and a value of 2 will use the end of the file as the reference point. It is very important to note that if we use a value of 1 or 2 for the reference location, an offset value of 0 must be used. We will not go into why this is the case in this course, but just know that if a value other than 0 is used for the offset when the reference point is 1 or 2, an error will occur. If we look back at our previous example, we see that when we use an offset value of 10 with no reference value specified, the default value of 0 is used for the reference and the mouse pointer is moved from the beginning of the file, regardless of where the cursor was placed initially. This command would perform the exact same action. If we use a reference value of 1, we need to use an offset value of 0. This command will offset from the current pointer location, which, for our use cases, is not very helpful. If we use a reference value of 2, this will move the cursor to the end of the file. Though we can only use an offset value of 0 when this reference value is used, this actually can come in very handy when we want to move to the end of a file without knowing how long the file is. Let's explore using the tell and seek methods in some programs.